Recently, I did 3 different reviews on 3 different machines that are all very similar. It was the Dragonhawk Fold, the Bronc Flip Pen, the V12, and the Ambition Mars U. They are all adjustable stroke style machines where you can adjust the stroke length. They're all wireless, so they're all very similar. And now that I've actually been using them for quite some time, I want to give an update on how these machines work. So, welcome to the channel and stay tuned, and we're gonna talk a little bit about these 3 machines. Now, although these 3 machines are very similar in style, they all act just a little bit different. And we're gonna talk about it today and actually check which one is the nicest for you. I'm not gonna say this one is better than the other one. I am gonna say which machine is best for me. And I'm probably gonna explain something to you that might make your decision on which of these machines is best for you. So let's start with the one I actually got first. Is the Ambition Mars U. As you can see, if you can see it, it has an adjustable stroke from 4.0 all the way down to 2.0. Now, this was the machine I actually got first, and I've done a lot of reviews and talking about it. This machine was actually really nice, and I have to say was, because I got something that was a little bit better for me. But this one really surprised me. This was the first machine in this style that I got, because I was missing things when I used a regular pen. If I had a pen with a 4mm stroke, it was nice for lining, but then if you want to do that soft shading and sometimes some color blending, it is hitting way too hard and you end up not getting the result that you want. So when I saw this machine was coming out, I ordered it straight away, just to see how it would do and how it would affect my tattoo work. And I have to say it did a lot for me. It was really nice to use it from 4.0 for bold lining and maybe some more medium kind of line work. But then when I put it down to 3.6, where I was hoping to get like nice fine lines with this machine, it just wasn't really doing the trick for me. Now this could be something that I am doing wrong. Maybe I should increase the voltage or maybe slow it down a little bit in order to get nicer thin lines. But for me, this one was not really doing the trick. But it was okay. I could get around even with the 4.0. I could do some fine line work with it. But then when I saw it healed, I wasn't too satisfied with what it put out. But shading wise, this one was actually pretty good, and color packing was absolutely amazing with this machine. So maybe if you do only bold lines and pack some solid color, this machine will really do the trick for you. But now if you're, for example, doing black and gray or more realism and you want to do these thin lines and super smooth shading, it will do the nice smooth shading. But just for the fine lines, for me, it's really tricky. Maybe if you have more experience with it, it might work nicer for you. But that's just my thoughts on it. I do have to say the battery life on this machine is absolutely amazing. It says it can work anywhere between the 6 and the 8 hours, but I think you can tattoo way over 8 hours with this. Of course, that depends on how you set your voltage. If you use a really high voltage, of course, the battery is going to drain a lot faster, but you can get a decent session with just one battery charge on the tattoo, which I think is really important. And that's going to bring us to the next machine, which is the Dragonhawk Fold. Now, this machine has really blown me away. I am actually currently using this machine only because I really like the way this machine operates. Now, it has an adjustable stroke from 4.2. I hope you can see that. From 4.2 all the way down to 2.4. Now, the Ambition Mars is from 4.0 to 2.0, which is a little bit shorter of a stroke. What I was missing with the Ambition Mars is like super bold lining, like 14 round shader, 14 round liner, 11 round liners. You had to work really hard with the Ambition Mars to get these lines in, and I always feel like that if I have to work hard to get a line in, it's probably not gonna heal the way I want it to, because you might push too hard, you might blow out the line and stuff like that. So with the 4.2 millimeter stroke, it actually felt like I was tattooing with the Ambition Thorpe that I've also reviewed with the 5 millimeter stroke or the 4.5 millimeter stroke. So it has a lot more power. But if you turn it down, it also has a 3.9, which I like to use if I use like a 7 round liner or maybe a 9 round liner, and a 3.6. And that's basically all the three strokes that I've used. And with this one, with the 3.6 stroke, I do get a really nice, crisp, fine line. So if I use like a super tight 5 round liner or a 3 round liner, this machine absolutely does the trick. Also, shading is really nice with this one. I do feel like this is shading a little bit harsher, which is not really a big problem if you do like traditional work or maybe neo-traditional work, because it does blend really well. But maybe if you want to do like black and gray realism, this machine will shade a little bit on the hard side. Now, of course, you can also go down to 3.3 or 3.0 millimeter stroke. I personally haven't used that because I don't do a lot of realism, and maybe then it will be a little bit softer and a little bit smoother in the shading. Now, one thing that I really don't like about this machine is that the battery life really sucks. And this is the only minor point that I have on this machine, because I absolutely love this machine. The battery will last you no longer than 4 hours, I think. Now, if you have to do a big lining session where you're gonna have the voltage up pretty high, I think it's only gonna last you maybe 3 hours or 3.5 hours. Now, this is very little. If you have to outline a whole sleeve, you might have to spend 6, 7 hours on doing just the outline, or maybe even if it's just 4, you're gonna be looking at your battery like, oh shit, I hope it's gonna last through this tattoo. So I do recommend, if you want to buy this machine, get it with an extra battery, just so you know that you can always change out the battery if you're not done with your session yet. Because yeah, I I really don't like how this battery lasts, but I do really love the machine. I have to say this is my favorite machine, because it just tattoos so nice. So either get it with an extra battery, or make sure, if you don't mind, to use it wired. You can always put the RCA plug on and you can use it wired, and it'll last you the rest of the day without doing a charge, because it will be coming from your power supply. So that's on the Fold Pro. Now we also had the Bronc V12. Now, for me, this was the least favorite one, but then I have to say, in order to the two other ones, and this is where style, your personal style comes into play. This one was super nice for soft black and gray shading. I've done really nice black and gray pieces. I don't do a lot of realism. Sometimes I do some small kind of things that are semi-realistic, and I did one with these. I did like a spark plug. You can see the picture on my Instagram if you want to, that I did with this machine. Super smooth shading. Really, I have never actually accomplished to get that smooth of a shading. So that's where this one was really nice for. But then for lining, this one was not my favorite. Not for bold lining, not for fine line. I did get away a little bit better with the fine line, but I feel like even at the 4 millimeter stroke, it almost feels like I'm tattooing with like a Cheyenne Spirit or something like that. That was the first cartridge style rotary that I got, and it was very expensive, and I didn't like that one at all because I couldn't really line with it. It was really nice for shading, but not for lining. Another cool trick, because I remember in the review I complained about the screen being upside down, and when you press the button it would go the wrong way. Now I got a cool trick from one of the guys in the comments. If you press all 3 buttons at the same time, it will flip. I don't know if you can see it, but it will flip your screen around. and then when you press voltage up, it'll be the right way. So thank you very much for that tip. It was really helpful. Maybe it's helpful for you. So if you feel that your screen is upside down, just hold all the 3 buttons and release, and it'll flip your screen around, and it'll be working with the buttons a little bit better than what it did before. This one, the battery life is kind of in between the Ambition Mars and the Dragonhawk Fold. I think this one will last you a good 4 hours, maybe a little bit longer, especially if you just do a long shading session. You don't have your voltage very high, so then it maybe lasts you up to 5, maybe close to 6 hours, because it does say that the battery lasts you for about 4 to 6 hours. So I think if you're shading for long sessions with this, it'll last you a little bit longer. I didn't like the line with it. Maybe you do, or maybe you can do nice fine line lines with this. And yeah, that'll sort of work. What I also really like about this one is that it has the buttons on top, and these ones have the display and everything on the side. And then when you wrap the machine, it's sometimes a little bit hard to see, especially if you wrap it a couple times around, and your display will be less visible. On this one, it's not really the problem, because I will mainly wrap this part and just put like a little wrap over here just to protect it for when I'm touching the buttons, and it'll be easier to see what voltage you're on, how much battery life you have left. But other than that, you can see all the reviews in my on my channel. I will also link all the individual reviews to these 3 machines in the description, so you can have a look at it if you don't know it yet. I hope this was really informative and about how you can go about choosing this machine. So I will just summarize it a little bit better. This is my absolute favorite, the Dragonhawk Fold. Although the battery doesn't last too long, it operates really nice. It can do nice bold lines, it can do nice fine lines, and it can pack really nice color. Not too much of a realistic shader, and the same goes for the Ambition Mars U, which is probably my number 2. Nice for line work, not the really bold kind of outlines, but 7 round line or 9 round line or stuff like that. Fine lines, I'm not too keen about it. Maybe you do. Maybe if you adjust the voltage a little bit more, play around with it, it might work a little bit nicer. Nice shader, really nice color packer. So if you have to do a lot of solid color, this is the one for you. One thing I forgot, also for blackout tattoos, I've packed black with this, and it's absolutely amazing. I like to use it at a shorter stroke, at the 4.2, and set my voltage a little bit higher, and you can black out really quick without making too much damage. So that was one thing I forgot. If you do a lot of blackout tattoos, this thing is probably good for you, especially with the long battery life. It'll last you for a really long time. And then this one is my least favorite, not because the machine is not nice, it's more because it doesn't really fit my style. But if you are a black and gray artist and you do a lot of fine line, black and gray and stuff like that, this machine will probably be the best one to go to. Although the battery life is not the greatest, you will still get away with a good 4 or 5 hour session. And you can of course always connect the RCA plug with any of these 3 machines if you do want to use it wired. Now, I hope I didn't babble on for too long. I hope it informed you guys. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I am super happy because we went way over the 800 subscribers. We're getting really big. We're getting this channel a lot bigger. I'm getting a lot of machines sent to me for reviews, which I absolutely enjoy. So if you are a company that's watching my videos right now and you want to send me something to make a video for you or do a review, you can find my email address in my bio on my channel. And other than that, I wish you all a very good day, and I hope I informed you, and see you in the next video.